Hi, my name is Mia, and for my sustainability project, going to make a cat toy with the cat you see on the camera currently. Her name is Sapphire. Materials necessary for the project are bottle caps, tape, yarn, string, any box, markers, glue, poster board, and a cat. So the first thing you need to do for this cat toy is collect a bunch of bottle caps, and I use the leftover bottles without the bottle caps to water my garden because, as you can see, we have a pretty big garden in my backyard, and I put the bottles in a recycling bin. In the process of picking up these bottle caps, I managed to clean up the garbage that's around my garden as there was a lot of plastic bottles on the floor, and I was able to water it with water that, honestly, we might have just thrown away with these little bits of water that were left in the water bottles. Next thing I did is put the bottle caps in water because they were a little dirty and I didn't want my cat playing with dirty bottle caps. And since these were collected around my house, they might have had a little bit of dust, and I just used some of the water from a water bottle I had. After that, I looked up at what type of colors cats can see best so I can color the bottle caps with something that my cat would like, and I saw blue and yellow green was something they really liked. I used the markers I already had at home to pick a nice blue, a nice yellow, and I chose pink because I really like pink, and I used this to color the caps. But before coloring, I dried my caps, and something that my family does is we use our old clothes as wash rags or dry rags. So I used one of my dad's old shirts to dry these instead of paper towels, and here's a time lapse of me drying each bottle cap. After that, I went straight into coloring each bottle cap. I did my blues, I did yellows, and I did some pinks. And this was a really fun process, but unfortunately while I was doing this, my cat kept being annoying. She actually really enjoyed just playing in the box I was going to use. I'll get into that later, but yeah, she really liked it. Just the box. You can hear her here. So I cut this part of the box so my cat could get in the toy easier, and this was just a box I had around my house. I cut slits into it so I could fit in yarn, which I will discuss later, but this box is overall really sustainable just because it was holding stuff that we don't need anymore and my parents were just going to throw it out anyways. After that, I used a poster board that was left over from a previous project to decorate the back of the toy. I ended up drawing Garfield because I love Garfield, my cat loves Garfield, and Garfield's a cat, and I ended up using a little bit of calligraphy that said Sapphire's Castle. And these are just things that I'm using that are lying around my house to make sure that my cat not only has a fun toy, but a cute toy. After I finished the drawing, I just glued it on the back of the box, and I used leftover yarn from my crochet projects as I had a lot left over and I wasn't using it. This is blanket yarn, which means it's really fluffy and soft, and my cat loves playing with blanket yarn. And the process goes as follows. I taped the colored caps onto the yarn, and then through the holes that I made, I slipped it through the hole, tied a knot, and then taped the top again. And again, the tape that I used was just something I had left over my house. I didn't go out to buy any of these materials, and I already had them at home. Also, I know my cat may not look like she enjoyed it, but I promise she did play with it later. For this project, I reduced, reused, and recycled by creating a pet toy from items I already had at home instead of buying a new plastic toy. By upcycling materials that could have become trash, I helped reduce waste going to landfills and limited the amount of plastic that could end up in our oceans and harm marine life. Making toys at home also reduces the need for new resources like fossil fuels used to produce plastic. On a local level, projects like this can encourage families and pet owners in communities to reuse materials instead of throwing them away, which helps reduce overall household waste, which again connects to our solid waste unit. Communities can also share ideas for DIY pet toys and promote more sustainable habits. On a larger scale, if more cat and dog owners make reusable or repairable toys at home, it could reduce the demand for single-use plastic pet products and lower environmental impacts worldwide.